like you have been defeated. But it says, blessed is the man that endure temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive a crown of life, which the Lord giveth to them he promised who love him. Joseph was a man that was tempted by Potiphar's wife. She wanted him to lay with her, and he refused to do so. David was tempted by this woman, and so David knew she was after him and knew she wanted him. And, excuse me, I meant to say Joseph. Joseph knew this woman was wanting him after him, but one day he went into the house to do his business. He knew this woman was in the house. He should have taken some other servants with him, perhaps as precaution. But this woman grabbed him and laid her hand on him, and he didn't expect this. And this woman tried to force him to be with her, and he had to escape with his out of his coat and left his coat behind. And she lied on him and claimed he tried to rape her and had got him thrown into the dungeon. Well, it looked like he was guilty, or he wouldn't have been thrown into the dungeon. Claimed he was out trying to mock her, and it wasn't the case. It looks bad for Joseph. He was put in the dungeon because of it. But he wasn't guilty. A lot of time we'll see that somebody's been tempted and say, you must have done something wrong. You're guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. But that's not the case. And I was reading here and say, blessed is he that endure temptation. And then it goes on to describe these temptations where people's hearts are not right. They've been tempted. And then it said, let no man say, any man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. See, the temptation is not of God. The temptation is of the devil. That's what I was saying. The temptation comes from the devil. God didn't tempt you, but the devil does. And we can't stop the devil from tempting us. The devil has great power. He tempted Jesus. Jesus didn't yield to the temptation, but he tempted Jesus. So the devil is going to tempt us, but the key is not yielding to the temptation. They say, let no man say he's tempted to God. In other words, God didn't put this for you. If you say, well, if God, this is what the woman concluded when she ate the fruit. Well, if God didn't want us to eat it, he wouldn't have put it here. That's what she ultimately wound up when she yielded to the temptation. Well, it must be good. It must be okay because, yeah, God left us in the garden so we can eat it. That's what she decided. That wasn't what was true. That was the lie she laid. If we believe the lie, then we say God intended for it. That's what the sermon was trying to tell. Well, God didn't mean that. God didn't intend it that way. The serpent was trying to make her believe a lie. God did mean don't eat of this fruit or you will die. Excuse me. God did mean if you eat of this fruit, you will die. He really didn't mean that. And that's what happened. Death came into the world because of them eating of that fruit. That's why people die today. People would have continued on. There would have never been death in the world had they not eaten of that forbidden fruit. Would not have been put out of the garden of Eden if they hadn't eaten of that forbidden fruit. All these things can happen because of the disobedience. And believing the lie the serpent told, that was the temptation. She believed the lie. Brought all this damnation upon the world because of believing a lie. That's the tempting, to believe the devil's lie. It says, but when every man is tempted, he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Yeah, then you start looking at that. She started looking at that fruit and saying, well, it does look good. She started lusting after it in her heart and her mind. Oh, I think I will try this. And she did. And that was the problem. And then when lust have been conceived, it bringeth forth sin. The sin was when she looked at it and lusted after it, she ate the fruit, and that was the sin. And when sin is finished, it bringeth forth death. And the sin was death came into the world because she ate of that forbidden fruit. It says, then when the lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it finished, it bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variable, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will begetteth us here with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Wherefore, my beloved, let every one be swift to hear, and slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man